welcome to Superbwoman Sundays at 7, to our Mother's Day special. I'm so glad that you've joined us. You know, not long ago, I was talking with my mother, who is not a technology person and doesn't own a computer and hasn't been able to see this show. And she was asking me about it. You know, what is it about? What is this Superbwoman thing? So I was telling her about the amazing women that I've had on my show and all the wonderful things they're doing because they've taken that time to be themselves. And she said, well, what's wrong with just being a mother? And I had to sit back and think that I don't want to put that out there, that you have to have an amazing career, you have to be doing. That's really not what it's all about. Being a Superbwoman, it's all about the be. It's all about being yourself, aligning with your values, your goals, your passions. And for some women, that's being a mother is what it's all about. I can tell you, being a mother myself, that it is the most rewarding job I've ever had. I'm eternally grateful for the opportunity to be a mother. It's also the hardest job I've ever had as well. And I know those of you out there who are mothers can attest to that as well. So my story of being a mother started back when I was a teenager, back when I was babysitting and didn't really enjoy it, and actually was quite terrified of babies. And yet I knew that at some point I really wanted to be a mom, until doctors told me that there was a great chance that I would never be a mother. So what I did then was bury that. I convinced myself it didn't matter. I didn't really want to be a mother anyway. Besides, I didn't like babies. And went along my merry way until I turned 30 and met a man and got married, and we wanted a family. And fast forward 3 children later, seems that I could have babies after all. And I learned to love them. And not only did I learn to love the babies, but I learned to love my children at a level I never anticipated. I have gotten back so much more than I have given, and to this day remain forever grateful for the ability to be a mother. Cannot imagine my life without it. And so today you're going to see these wonderful women, these superb women who are leading wonderful lives being a mother. Some have been a mother full-time, some have been a mother part-time, some have, just started families, some are into a new phase and are becoming grandmothers. All of them are superb women. So sit back and enjoy. And Mom, this one's for you. Thanks.
Family is my husband, who I've been married to for 18 years, and our 2 sons. Our sons are currently 13 years old and 15.
Yes, so you are in the middle of the teenage years.
I am, yes. more so with one than the other. And the funny thing is, it's the younger who's more your typical teen.
I have 2 daughters and 1 son. And the son being the baby and was pretty well coddled. I raised him for the first, when my son was 15 months old, I became a single mom. And so I raised him until he was in 2nd or 3rd grade. So about 9 years that we did solo. So he was raised by a lot of women. So he knows all about women.
Family you define first by the one you were born into. 2 wonderful parents, very professional father, early professional mom, designed rocket engines before staying home to raise 3 kids.
Wow.
And she tells us she had an engineer working in her bedroom along the way, because that was where her office was. So we don't go there. But older sister, younger brother. I grew up very focused on what I was going to do, that I could do anything and being professional, but somewhere along the line decided it was time to have my own family. So I have a 21-year-old son and an almost 18-year-old son.
My family consists of myself and my 3-year-old daughter that I originally was a single mom with. And in the past year, I've met my fiance, we got engaged, and we're pregnant with my second child. And we also have a 90-pound German Shepherd whose name is Vladimir.
Yes, just a little puppy.
It's been a growing family over the past year, which has been a lot of growth in 1 year. But when I think about how quickly kids grow, it's quite appropriate that Ed and Emerson and Vladimir and I have all gotten ready to welcome this new one into our life too on May 22nd.
I have 5 children. Nicholas is 24. Lucas is 22. My twins had just turned 19 on Sunday. I can't believe it. And the baby, who's not so much a baby anymore, is 17. So she will be a senior.
Was always kind of just watching my mom and her being the nurturing person that she was. I wanted to be that same person or better. I, from a little girl, loved playing with dolls and loved babysitting. Even very, very young, I would babysit for little ones, even if their moms were home, just to keep an eye on them so the mom didn't have to be outside all day. But I just always loved being around children.
I'm not one of those women who grew up always knowing I was going to be a mom. You know, it just wasn't something I think I thought it was surely a possibility, but it wasn't a definite destination in my mind. And I had a first marriage in my 20s, and it wasn't successful. And as I entered my 30s as a single woman, I was conscious of the fact that I might not ever be a mom. And at that time, I was a high school teacher, and I felt really comfortable with the idea that I had a lot of young people in my life. And that seemed at that moment to satisfy me. And then I met my husband. And when we got married, it was really apparent to me pretty early in our marriage that this was the time to become a mom. And I felt that I had spent many, many years at that point really with myself, developing myself personally, professionally, and romantically. And I felt that I was in that place where I was really ready to give to someone else, and that the next phase of my life was really becoming a mom and making meaning by sharing my life with children.
Even though I was a single mom, and you know, I say that I accidentally got pregnant as a single woman, when I was given the choice to, you know, keep the child and have the baby on my own because the father did not want to be involved, I realized in that moment that I really did decide to be a mother, and that I was given such an amazing opportunity, and that I was really blessed with this miracle that was growing inside of me, especially since I had been told that I wouldn't be able to have kids. It was a big decision to have the child on my own, and I remember feeling really scared, but at the same time feeling really empowered and excited to meet that child and to have the opportunity to be a mom, because for a long time I didn't think I would be able
to be a mom. Ever since I was a little girl. I was the oldest of 7. I am the oldest of 7. So I always knew that I wanted a house full of life and full of children. I saw how my parents were kept so young with all that energy around them, and that's what I wanted for myself. So it was about 2 years after we got married that I had my first, Nicholas. And we actually ended up with 5 within 6 years because of the twins. So yes, it was quick.
Being a mother for me has been really just a wonderful, pleasurable experience. And, you know, sometimes I feel like other moms hear me and they probably think, oh, that can't be true. But it genuinely is true for me. I was, from the moment my sons were born, you know, outside of those first 2 months of sleeplessness, I just was enthralled by the joy of watching another human being develop and playing this integral role in that development. And it just has continued through every phase, whether it's watching them learn to walk or talk, or, you know, last night I watched my younger son sit at the piano and play with passion. And the idea that I birthed this person and that I've nurtured him so that he can arrive at a place where he can express himself creatively and confidently. I mean, that's the greatest joy, that I feel like I've given them that opportunity.
To have new formed lives and share what they're growing up and form them and have lots of opportunities to do a million things together. We've skied together, we've sailed together, we've looked at whales together, you know, the everyday school stuff as well, but just that opportunity to create that cohesive family unit and, you know, watch and guide them as they grow up to be their own people.
Being pregnant, the birthing process, I'm an unusual person, but I loved that part of it. I know a lot of women nowadays, they just go, ugh, I'm so heavy, but I loved every minute of it. I was so proud to be that pregnant mom, and just the cuddles and the hugs and being able to nurture and be a role model to someone else. So I think that's what I most enjoy.
I would say along that same line of learning so much about myself. I never thought that I would stretch in my patience and in my compassion and like my heart and my love for another human being. It's just been overpowering and beyond what I could have imagined. The amount of patience that it requires. And I think something else that I've learned is to really have fun with it. You know, I think a lot of times being a mother can be tiring. And so if I really look for the joy and being present, it's really helped me be present and have fun. You know, because kids, I've learned that, you know, my 3-year-old, she does a lot of things much better when we're having fun doing it. Yes. And so that's taught me how to have more fun in my own life, you know, even if I have to work or do my own inner work, like how can I make that stuff more fun? So she's really been a huge teacher for me.
I had a rough start with motherhood. Both my sons were emergency C-sections, and in each instance, both times the child was at risk and I was at risk with my second son. My second son was born premature. And I learned really early that there was so much I was not going to be in control of. It wasn't the birth I wanted to have either time. And it really showed me right up front, you're not the one who's going to be in control. You know, there's going to be a lot of things that happen in motherhood that are well beyond my control. And a lot of it is going to be how I respond to it and how I teach my children to respond. And that's really been my philosophy. And so last night at a soccer match, my son got hurt and unfairly hurt by another player. And my reaction was really to talk to him about the experience, how he felt about it, what he was learning from it. And so I really feel like I've been there to share this perspective with my children, that how we respond to life is the most important thing, and that we can't necessarily control every aspect of our life and we can't control other people, but we can control how we respond to it. And that's the best advice I would give to a new mother.
The thing I see in a lot of parenting is when the moms become, especially the daughter's best friend, when they're younger, I see disasters happen. We have to remember that we're the parent, and I think that's the biggest piece of advice I can give, is always be the parent. As they've grown older now, I look at it more as I'm more of a friend to my children. But when they were young, I was the disciplinarian, and I was the only disciplinarian. So I really had to keep that role separate from the friendship side.
The first thing that I definitely had to learn as a single parent was to ask for help, and not only ask for help, but be willing to receive the help. You know, I was really a very strong, independent woman before I got pregnant and before I had Emerson. And becoming a single parent really taught me that I couldn't do it alone, that I would never survive, and that I would benefit so much from having a village and having, even if it wasn't a lot of people, really quality people surrounding me. So I would tell mothers to ask for help and to receive help. And I guess the other big thing that I've learned that I would tell a new mom is to trust her intuition, that there's a lot of expert advice out there. There's a lot of great books. There's a lot of amazing mentors. And at the same time, a mother's intuition is magical. And a mother really does know her child best and knows ultimately at the end of the day of researching all that information of what's best for her child. So that's something I've learned along the way. Trust your intuition. And then I guess the last thing that I've learned is that I would share with a mother to be is to use everything for her growth. So even when being a mom is exhausting or infuriating or challenging, if, when I have that perspective of what can I learn from this and how can I grow from this and my child grow, it really takes away the challenge of being a parent and being a mom and turns it into a more loving consciousness.
But I think, one of the most important things, I see a lot of young moms carry a lot of stress because they're trying to get everything done. And I think the most important thing is when you are with your children to really be fully present in the moment. Things will take care of themselves, but the times that you spend with those kids are so precious and it goes by so quickly. So that I think that would be just to really be focused on them and living those moments. And the dusting will take care of itself. The cleaning of the house will take care of itself eventually. But those moments when they need you to be truly present.
Kind of go with your gut, and it changes at every stage. So what you think you're going to do before you have them is probably not what you're going to do when you have them. And what you think was important before isn't what's important after. And what you think is so hard when they're 6 months old changes to a whole different thing when they're 6 years old, changes to a whole different thing when they're 16, changes to a different thing when they're 21 and ready to go off on their own. So I think it's kind of an evolution and letting that happen and not be so rigid that you think before it all starts where you're going to end up, because it doesn't work that way.
It's an interesting time. It's exciting. Now my one son is in high school. My other son just became a teenager, and there's this new level of independence. They're out and about. They're having their social life, and while on the one hand I see, I still have to very much be there. Homework checks. Talking about dating, whatever might come up. I'm in a new place with independence. And for me, that's kind of opening this whole new door. I keep saying it's the next chapter of my life. And I'm really going inward to explore what do I want that next chapter to be. I know I'm never going to stop being a mom, but I also know that there's a gradual release and that, I'm getting my kids ready. One will be going off to college in a few years and the other will follow. And so as I get them ready to go off, I'm trying to get myself ready for my next chapter. And really that is just finding out what for me is my truth, how I want to be living that next chapter of my life.
I was so lucky to be at home with the kids for so many years. And the timing could not have worked out better now that the kids get older as the twins go off to college. And my youngest will be a senior. I am part now of a publishing house who is rebranding, and we are doing a lot of exciting new things, and I'm at the ground floor for this. So I'm very excited to be a part of this new process and this new opportunity in my life where I will be able to focus on this as I was able to focus on my kids when they were little. So I think it's really worked out well that I was able to do them for so long and now do something for myself that will obviously benefit them as well, hopefully.
Wonderful, wonderful. Tell us the name of the publishing house.
It's Chapel Hill Press. And we're in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. We publish all kinds of genres of books. And it's just a very exciting field to be in. I love books, and I love, I think everybody has a story to tell. And I like to be part of that process where somebody's dream can become a published book. So, it's a good place to be. And it's nice for the kids to also see me after being so many years at home with them, to see that mom has something now that is hers, and productive and
Where
hopefully
they're
successful.
getting ready to go off on their own. They don't need you anymore, and it's a good opportunity to redefine yourself. So I have a business I've had for a long time and starting a new one with a friend, which is sending me back to grad school at age 57 online. So that's a whole new thing. I've done grad school, at 21, but at 57 it's very different, and online is totally different. And kind of looking at, well, where do I want to be now that it's my turn again? So it's kind of fun to have that opportunity to sort of redefine and refocus and think about what matters to you for the next phase. So that's where I am. And I think that's a great opportunity for, if you look at it that way, instead of the sadness of the kids leaving and don't need you anymore, to look at what's next. And
I would say next is I work part-time, very part-time, because I have a new little granddaughter that lives in the city of Chicago, and I am in a very short commute, and I'm going to be able to do some childcare for her, and I'm anxiously awaiting that. Mommy's still off of work, so I haven't had that opportunity yet, but and just to be with my grandchildren as much as I can. I love my grandchildren. I love my children, and I just really want them to always remember me as the person that I want to be. So, and that is that nurturing, loving, caring grandma. So that is definitely a place I want to be in my life. So I love what I'm doing now. So just being a grandma, I'm very proud of that fact.
Do it a couple of weeks, and I've been able to kind of slow down with work, but I definitely have had a lot of time while I've been pregnant to kind of think about what really inspires me and what do I love to do. And I think after the baby's maybe about a year old, I want to go back to school either for nutrition or start going back again for acupuncture and kind of incorporate that maybe into my coaching. So,
excellent. Wonderful.
But I'm going to give a year to really enjoy being with this baby and relaxing and being a family, because I didn't have a family the first time around. So I'm excited to be a mom in a family this time.